Did you know that during the Cold War, a Soviet submarine was armed with a nuclear torpedo in the Caribbean Sea? But the U.S. Navy found it. Now, if the captain of the submarine hadn't made a crucial mistake, the whole world would have been destroyed. So what actually happened? What did the U.S. do? And why did the captain almost press the nuclear launch button? The year is 1962 and the world is on edge. For years, the United States and the Soviet Union have been engaged in a tense standoff known as the Cold War. Both sides are heavily armed with thousands of nuclear missiles ready to strike at a moment's notice. The situation is further complicated by the presence of Soviet nuclear weapons in Cuba, just 90 miles off the coast of Florida. This has left the U.S. feeling vulnerable and on edge. President John F. Kennedy is desperate to find a solution to this crisis, and his options are limited. As the pressure mounts, Kennedy decides to take action and dispatches the U.S. Navy to intercept any Soviet vessels attempting to enter the Gulf of Mexico, with orders to fire if necessary. As the ships sail into position, tension rises. Suddenly, one of the ships detects a Soviet submarine lurking in the waters around Cuba. The stakes couldn't be higher. The submarine is carrying nuclear weapons. It could mean the end of the world as we know it. But what happens next will shock you. As the U.S. Navy closes in on the submarine, they send signals ordering it to surface. However, the submarine remains submerged and does not respond. This only adds to the growing sense of tension and suspicion. The U.S. Navy believes that the submarine may be armed with nuclear weapons, and that it could pose a serious threat to their safety. With no other choice, they decide to take drastic measures. Suddenly, a sonar ping echoes through the depths of the ocean. The submarine's crew jumps into action, frantically trying to identify the source of the noise. They quickly realize that they are being hunted and that their location has been compromised. Time is of the essence, and the crew must act fast to avoid detection. As they struggle to understand what's happening, the intensity of the sonar pings increases. It's clear that they are in grave danger, and the stakes couldn't be higher. But the captain of the submarine is a seasoned veteran who refuses to give up without a fight. He knows that their best chance of survival lies in evading the enemy, and he and go down without a bang. Captain Vasily Arkhipov was a stern and experienced leader who had served in the Soviet Navy for many years. He was a man on a mission and would stop at nothing to protect his country and complete his objectives. But the pressure he was under was immense, and the fate of the world quite literally rested on his shoulders. As the submarine continues to evade the U.S. Navy, it becomes clear that the situation is becoming increasingly desperate. The crew is exhausted, and the submarine's systems are damaged, making it difficult to maneuver. But the captain refuses to surrender. He knows that doing so would not only put himself and his crew in danger, but could also trigger a nuclear apocalypse. With every passing moment, the pressure mounts and the stakes get higher. But the captain remains resolute, determined to protect his country and prevent the outbreak of World War III. Meanwhile, the U.S. government is scrambling to respond to the crisis. They know that the presence of a Soviet submarine in the area is a major threat, and they must take action to neutralize it. But they also need to be careful not to provoke the Soviets into a full-scale war. As the situation continues to develop, it becomes clear that the world is on the brink of disaster. A single wrong move could trigger a nuclear holocaust. In the midst of this chaos, Captain Arkhipov makes a fateful decision that will change the course of history forever. Now, just when it seems like all hope is lost, something unexpected happens. The submarine's radio crackles to life, and a message comes through that brings a glimmer of hope to the crew. It's a message from the Soviet Union alerting them to the fact that they were unaware of the Cuban Missile Crisis. The crew had been sent into a war zone without being told. This realization brings a sense of relief to the crew, as they now know that they are not alone in this crisis. But it also adds to the complexity of the situation. The captain must now decide how to proceed, knowing that he is in a war zone without orders from his superiors. The weight of this decision hangs heavy on his shoulders, and the crew watches anxiously as he weighs his options. The captain realizes that he is in a precarious position and must act quickly. He knows that he cannot continue to hide from the U.S. Navy indefinitely, nor can he risk being captured and interrogated. He needs to get out of there before things get worse. So he makes a risky move, surfacing the submarine and heading towards the nearest port in the Soviet Union. This is a dangerous gamble. but it's his only option if he wants to protect himself and his crew. As the submarine surfaces, the crew holds their breath and hopes that they will not be detected. But as they emerge from the depths of the ocean, they are met with a grim sight. The U.S. Navy is waiting for them, and a tense standoff ensues. Now the fate of the submarine and its crew hangs in the balance. Will they be able to escape the clutches of the U.S. Navy? Or will they be captured and sent to prison for their role in the Cuban Missile Crisis? As the standoff continues, the tension builds, and the crew braces for the worst. But as the U.S. Navy closes in, something unexpected happens. Instead of attacking the submarine, the U.S. Navy does something that shocks the crew. Escort the submarine out of the danger zone and allow it to return to the Soviet Union undetected. This surprising move leaves the crew shaken, but grateful for the safe passage. As the submarine disappears into the horizon, the crew is left to wonder why the U.S. Navy let them go. Had the U.S. realized the gravity of the situation and decided to de-escalate the conflict, or were they simply biding their time until they could capture the submarine? Whatever the reason, the crew is relieved to be out of the danger zone and back on Soviet soil. Meanwhile, back at the U.S. Navy headquarters, the decision to allow the submarine to leave without being attacked sends shockwaves throughout the organization. Many argue that the submarine should have been destroyed, while others believe that allowing it to leave was the right call in order to prevent a larger conflict. But one thing is certain: the presence of the submarine in the Caribbean Sea had brought the world closer to nuclear war than ever before, and the captain of the submarine, Vasily Arkhipov, becomes a hero of the Soviet Union for his actions during the standoff. The world may never have known about the submarine's presence in the Caribbean Sea, had it not been for the actions of a few brave individuals. One of those people was Captain Arkhipov, whose quick thinking and bravery helped to avert a nuclear disaster. You see, when the captain realized that the U.S. Navy was closing in on him, he knew that he had only a few seconds to make a decision that would determine the fate of the world. Faced with the possibility of being captured and interrogated, the captain chose to surface the submarine and head for the nearest Soviet port. This decision put him in a precarious position, but it was his only option if he wanted to protect himself and his crew. Throughout the ordeal, the captain remained calm and collected, issuing orders to his crew in a clear and concise manner. He knew that panic would only make the situation worse, and that everyone needed to stay focused in order to survive. But perhaps the captain's greatest moment came when he chose not to attack the U.S. Navy ships that were closing in on his submarine. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the captain knew that launching a nuclear torpedo would not only endanger the lives of his crew, but also trigger a nuclear holocaust that could destroy the entire planet. In the end, it was the captain's quick thinking and bravery that led to the peaceful resolution of the standoff. His decision to avoid confrontation and instead seek a peaceful resolution was instrumental in saving countless lives and averting a global catastrophe. After the incident, the captain was hailed as a hero of the Soviet Union, and for good reason. Had shown exceptional courage and leadership skills in a high-pressure situation, and had done his best to protect his country and the world. While the rest of the world may never have known about the submarine's presence in the Caribbean Sea, those who served with the captain knew that he had played an important role in preventing a nuclear disaster. He had demonstrated that even in the face of overwhelming odds, one man with courage and determination can make a difference. So what would you have done if you were the captain of the submarine? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more thrilling stories.